Dopamine detox for life. In this video, I'm going to explain to you why dopamine detoxing is not something that you should do for a few weeks or a few months. It's something that you need to do for life. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, when I was 17 years old, I was told by a doctor that I had ADD. This was because I was so incredibly lazy and so incredibly unproductive. He gave me pills, he gave me medication and told me you need to take this to make you normal, to make your brain work normally. The reality was I didn't have ADD. I had just cooked my brain so badly by providing it so much stimulation, so much dopamine from these modern devices that I hated doing anything. Everything was difficult, everything was hard to do, so I didn't do everything. My life was absolutely miserable. I was able to absolutely turn this around through dopamine detoxing, and it wasn't something that I did for a few days, for a few weeks, for a few months. It's something that I've done for years. I'm going to continue to do this for the rest of my life, for as long as I physically can, because I know there has been nothing that's changed my life, nothing that has improved the quality of my life more than doing this. So what is dopamine detoxing? Dopamine detoxing is essentially removing everything that provides you achievement-free dopamine. Everything that provides you dopamine provides you stimulation but doesn't move you in any way forwards in life. It doesn't move you towards your goals. It doesn't move you forwards in your relationships. It moves you forward in no way, but it provides you a huge amount of stimulation. Good examples of this are things like TikTok or short-form social media content, video games, watching TV, pornography. All of these things are providing you dopamine, providing you stimulation, but not moving you forward in any way in your life. So dopamine detoxing is removing those activities. It's getting rid of all of those things that provide your brain with stimulation, but don't move you towards your goals. So why would you do that? Well, you would do that because these activities have provided you with stimulation. They've provided you with dopamine, and all that's happened is that it's provided you with huge spikes of dopamine throughout the day, and your brain's gone, this isn't normal. I need to bring your dopamine levels back to baseline. So how does it do that? It reduces the amount of dopamine you receive from everything. And if it reduces the amount of dopamine you receive from everything, that by definition makes everything less enjoyable. And when everything is less enjoyable, everything is more difficult. And when everything is more difficult, you won't do it. If, for example, a workout that you were trying to do, let's say you were trying to go for a run. If that run seemed like the worst thing in the world, if it seemed like I would rather die than do this run, you're probably not going to do the run. But if you were really looking forward to that run because you knew that run provided you dopamine, if you actually enjoyed that run, you'd be much more likely to do it. And that's why we dopamine detox, because we're starting to actually receive dopamine, receive boosts, receive spikes of dopamine from doing things that are moving us towards our goals. It is an absolute superpower. You've literally rewired your brain to start to want to grow, to start to want to actually achieve things and move forward in your life. So obviously this is something that we want. But for some reason, when people talk about the dopamine detox, they use it in the literal sense of a detox, which is usually a period of time. It's like, I'm detoxing for a few weeks or a few months. I'm going to stop using this for a period of time. If you truly want to see insane results, it's not a period of time, it is for life. We're trying to make dopamine detoxing something that's a part of our lives. The person that receives insane amounts of dopamine, insane amounts of enjoyment from doing things that moves them towards their goals, they receive huge dopamine from working out, from doing their work, they're going to go so much further in life than the person that did that for a few weeks. Now they're just back to normal. If you guys are enjoying this, if you would like to learn more about this, I have a completely free course on how to dopamine detox, how to rewire your brain to love working hard. You can check that out at school.com/modernmonk. I'll leave a link in the description below. Otherwise, keep enjoying the video. So what is the issue with this temporary detoxing? Just going on a detox for a few weeks or a few months and then getting back to baseline. The issue is you're really not getting much out of this. The benefit that you get from this dopamine detox is going to last you only for the time that you're on it. As soon as you go back from, let's say, for that month period, you did a 1 month detox. During that time, you stopped watching TV, you stopped watching porn, you stopped playing video games, you stopped scrolling short form social media content. During that time, maybe you saw a slight improvement, right? You saw a slight increase in your dopamine, and that made things more enjoyable. But as soon as that 30-day period's up and you go back to doing what you were doing, you go back to the video games, you go back to the TV, you go back to the short form social media content, all that's going to happen, and this is the sad reality, is that because your dopamine has been brought down because you're not getting those huge spikes, you're now going to get massive, massive spikes of dopamine from the things that you were trying to avoid. Because you've actually reset your brain and it's now actually working properly, and you're not used to these artificial spikes of dopamine, life is good. But as soon as you bring that back in, those little spikes are going to be massive, massive spikes of dopamine. It's almost like you're doing it for the first time. And all that's going to happen is your brain's going to go, wow, that was amazing. I want to do more of that. We have to keep doing that. And now you've just reinforced your brain to continue to do that behavior. So effectively, that 30-day period was only as good as the work that you got done in that 30 days. The other issue is your dopamine levels aren't just going to go back in a few hours or in a few days. This takes quite a while. If you've spent the last 10, 20 years cooking your brain, I mean cooking it, with short form social media content, with video games, you're watching TV all the time, you're watching porn, you have cooked your brain. If you think that in 1 week, my brain is going to be back to normal, you've been sold some magic beans, mate, because that is not how it's going to work. So all you've really done is done the hard yards of breaking really difficult habits, breaking things that have been instilled in your life, ingrained in you, and your brain has reinforced and rewired for huge amounts of time. All you've done is broken that habit, which is the hardest part. You've got rid of those things. And now your brain is in a healing period. It's in a period where it's going, we're not getting these massive hits all the time. Let's start rebuilding our dopamine levels. Let's start bringing it back up. And that might take a month. So it's got to the end of the month. You've done the hard yards of breaking the habits. Finally, your brain started working properly. Finally, you're actually functioning like a human's supposed to. And then you go, and here's porn, and here's TV, and here's video games, and here's short form content. Take it all. And your brain's going to go, fuck yeah, and just get huge amounts of stimulation. Just get hit like an absolute freight train, and you're back to square one. You've just completely cooked it. All you've done is just prepared yourself to get pummeled by dopamine as soon as you incorporate it all back into your life. So you've done the hard yards. You've knocked out this really bad habits that you've instilled in your life for a long time. You've killed them, right? You've absolutely crushed it. You've done the hard yards. You're finally resetting new habits. Life is looking good. Your brain is reset back to normal. You're finally receiving dopamine from doing rewarding things, from moving you towards your goals, and you just throw it in the bin. What are you doing? That's why the idea of a detox period, it's worthless. It's useless. This needs to be something that you incorporate into your life. It's not a few weeks. It's not a few months. It's for life. In saying that, if we want to do this for life, then it's probably going to change how we approach the dopamine detox. We're probably not going to go, right, it's cold turkey. We just got to do this for 30 days and I can do anything for 30 days and it's done. You're probably going to go, well, if I want to do this for life, I need to make sure that I can actually stick to it. I need to make sure it's sustainable. So if I want it to be sustainable, I need to start slowly eliminating things over time. Because if we want to get this out of our lives for sure, rather than getting it out of our lives fast, then we need to make sure we can actually stick to it. So what I recommend you do is you need to identify what is providing your brain with the most stimulation, the highest peak of dopamine over the shortest period of time, and you need to remove it from your life. That is your only goal for 30 days. Your only goal is to remove that one thing. You're getting that out of your life. You're removing it as a habit that you do constantly on a day-to-day basis. One job, literally one job is remove one thing. Now, at the end of this 30 days, you're probably going to be thinking like, yeah, I feel a little bit better, but it didn't make much of a difference. Yeah, you're probably right. Then remove another thing. Now you can move to the number 2 item that receives the second biggest peak over the shortest period of time. Do that for 30 days. You'll probably be like, well, yeah, again, just not that difficult. And I am starting to notice a bit of changes. And then you go to number 3. Then you remove the third most stimulating thing. And all of a sudden, you're 6 months in. That didn't really seem all that difficult. But now, nothing in your life is providing you with artificial, achievement-free dopamine. You've completely reset your dopamine levels. You're now receiving spikes of dopamine from doing difficult things, from doing things that are moving you towards your goals, and you're actually enjoying life. You're actually enjoying pursuing goals. You're enjoying growing. And this is exactly how we do it. We don't want to do it as some big purge, some big cold turkey thing that's incredibly difficult. It's a big process. It's a complete change in our lifestyle. We just want to incrementally make an improvement. Just one thing each month. Just a small improvement in our lifestyle. And over time, you are going to completely change your life. If this is something that you want to do for your life, then we shouldn't be thinking in weeks. We should be thinking in years. We should be thinking in decades. We should be thinking over longer time horizons because we know it's something that we want to incorporate for good. So if you do this, if you just remove one thing a month, in a year's time, good luck if you have 12 things that are providing you artificial stimulation. There's probably 5. So in 5 months' time, you're probably done. You've probably achieved a level of dopamine detox that most people completely struggle with. You've done it incredibly easy. It was pretty seamless, and you know it's for good. You now have a 5-month period where you're receiving dopamine from doing difficult things. You've incorporated it into your lifestyle. It hasn't been a huge shock to the system, and now life is good. Now you're moving towards your goals. You're enjoying your life. You're enjoying the process. And you are going to grow so much faster than that person that's gone, I'm going on a dopamine detox, throwing the kitchen sink at it, removing everything, going cold turkey, struggling, battling, doing everything, all the hard yards, and then getting to that end of the 30 days and go, I've done a dopamine detox. I'm going to pat myself on the back for that. Well done. We did it. And then just go back to your old habits. What was the point? What was the point in all of that? All you've done is all the hard yards. Your brain is finally normal and you just cook it. Worse than ever. Your brain now gets a freight train of dopamine from all these things you're doing. It just thinks, oh, give me more of that. More. I want more. And all you've done is made your brain even more insatiable for doing things it's not supposed to, things that are not moving you towards your goals. It is not worth it to do a dopamine detox if it's not something that you want to do for life. If it's not something that you want to incorporate into your life to move you towards your goals in an efficient, effective manner. If you're just doing this for 30 days, don't do it. Don't worry about it. This is a change in your lifestyle. It's not going to be something that you do for a few weeks or a few months and give up on. It's something that we need to have as a part of our life. And that's why you need to do this slowly over time. Think in months, think in years, think in decades, don't think in days. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, please subscribe. I am new to YouTube, so if you want to be an OG, if you want to ride me all the way to the top, then please subscribe. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.